Hey guys, welcome to Broad Street to Britain with me, Dave Shaw, and as ever, I'm joined by Alex Carr and Richard Skinner, and I am looking forward to this pod because right now, and I don't care what the experts say, the Phillies are the best team in baseball right now. Give it to me, Richard. Just for disclosure, this is not how it always is. Okay, I know this is just I'm making the most of this right now because it doesn't last, but we're riding a hot wave, and I'm riding it. I'm riding it. So, Alex, back after an absence last week. How are you, buddy?
Hello, sir. I am fantastic. I think I read somewhere that this is the first time the Phillies have won all three of their first three series
No, what?
since 2014.
And that was
I think that is correct. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but that sounds about right, which is pretty crazy. I'm doing great. I'm loving this has been not just because of the results. This has been like the most fun I've had watching baseball in years. I think that working in baseball can be hard and it can make you kind of lose sight of like how much fun watching this game can be. I'm having a blast. This is awesome. So just happy to be here. Happy to chat some ball.
Like last night, we'll dive into it more in a minute, but last night's game was nuts. I was going crazy. I was just the roller coaster of the two heavyweights, the Titans of the NL going at it, to and fro. The weather was thrown in. It was playing havoc. Everything that could happen happened. The atmosphere, it felt like an October game. I had to remind myself, it's the 6th of April. It's game number 9. We've just started the season. I'm like yourself. I am loving it. And I feel like the Phils haven't even got out of second, third gear yet. There's so much more to come from this team. Richard, how are you, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm a little tired, I'll be honest. The weekend's kind of taken it out of me. But
I don't think you've missed an inning of baseball yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I was up on the Friday night. I was like, I'll just watch the first inning.
Let's
and
go,
I'll just watch the first 3, and then I may as well watch the full thing. And then the F1
Shoot
was
it
on
up,
early.
baby. Yeah.
So I regret waking up for the Formula One, but I don't regret staying up to watch the Phillies.
That was terrible.
The Dodgers.
Yeah.
It was terrible. We won't get into that. Yeah, I'm enjoying them, man. 7-2. We didn't sweep the Dodgers, which was my prediction, but hey, if you said before, would you take 2-1? Like, absolutely.
I think you said if we serious win this, we'll start playing tickets for November.
October, yeah.
In October, yeah.
October.
I was just having a little sneaky look at flights for October time. I'm not gonna lie, I got sucked into the hype. But yeah, it's been incredible. Yeah, I watched the first inning on Friday night, then fell asleep, and then I couldn't. I woke up after the 7th inning. I was like, I might as well watch the rest.
Yeah, I'm not staying up this week. I'm being sensible. Like,
no.
Friday night's okay, but like, no, if I stay up on Tuesday night, that's not going to end well.
No, I can't get sucked into watching a couple of innings because it will just snowball from there.
Yeah, it just spiral. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I need to be disciplined. Otherwise, body clock's out the window and it's only April. Right, we're going to dive into what was a fantastic Dodgers series. But first of all, a little bit of housekeeping. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who either donated or wished me luck. Congratulations. All over the social medias for the half marathon yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was baking hot, wearing pants, trousers. Man, I underestimated it. It was so hot, but it was a lot of fun. Did it in 2 hours 5, my personal best. Dead happy. London Marathon, the full 26 miles again.
Hey, that's really good.
Fully, I'm really happy.
2:05 is good.
It was awesome. The crowd's amazing. I've got a few runners going past, going "Go Braves" or "Go Brewers." Gonna go Dodgers. Also got some go Phillies from the crowd on the side. So it was incredible. A real buzz. 26 miles in 3 weeks doing London again, fully dressed in the Phillies uniform. Don't know how. I'm not that confident actually.
The weather's not going to stay like this. It'll be cooler by then.
It needs to be
cooler. I'm like in the middle of 2 weeks of sun. Like, what is going on? This does
not
happen.
We're in a drought.
Yeah.
We're in a drought right now. This is unheard of.
There's no forecast till Monday. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I know. This is our summer right now. This is all. I'm taking it as our summer right now. The weather's been insanely hot for the last 2 weeks.
Jealous.
Just like the Phillies, eh?
Just
Insanely
like
hot.
the Titans. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you haven't donated yet, we really appreciate it. I'm over halfway to my target. Yeah, London 3 weeks. If you're in London, come out. Clap me on, cheer me on, wish me luck. Or see me in Passyunk after, as I'll be a sweaty mess, devouring a cheesesteak and a beer. And also, thank you for people who've been listening and downloading and subscribing to the podcast. The numbers are really, really good right now, and YouTube as well. People watching the recaps. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. It's really appreciated. We love doing this, and the numbers are really swelling right now. So if you haven't, hit that subscribe button.
You must have made a great new addition, Dave. I don't know what's changed this year.
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. There's been, it's got to be. Well, Richard, you're a great addition. Like you've been great, and it's been fun.
I'm trying my best.
I don't like him.
Nah,
I don't think people will after my hot and not, but we'll get to
it. Oh, there's a teaser. Yes, coming up from today's show, Richard will give his free hots and free knots. We'll also have a minor league report as well, because not only the Phils but the Iron Pigs.
Same record.
They're hot right now as well. So we're going to dive into a bit of that as well. Also, Alex and Richard's Philly of the week. So let's do this. The Phillies are 7-2. As Alex said, we don't know how accurate it is, but the first time, as I say, the first time in a long time, in years,
I'm pretty sure that's
10,
right,
that the Phillies have won 3 series. They're opening 3 series in a row. Game 1, quickly, 3-2 win. Let's talk about Jesus Luzardo in that game 1, because he was outstanding. What a home debut. 7 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, just 2 walks allowed. His ERA, I know it's a small sample size, but in the low ones. Alex, Jesus Luzardo is giving us absolutely everything, and I think more than what we thought was going to come from him.
Yeah, he's gross. I mean, he's the league leader in strikeouts right now. He's the new sweeper against lefties is really doing it for him. And I have to be honest, I was a little ignorant to the fact that he needed kind of a new put away pitch versus lefties. But it seems like that has been a huge adjustment for him. And you can tell, I mean, just by the swings that he's getting and the kind of at bats he's letting guys have. Every single hitter that steps into the box against him looks uncomfortable. They just look so off balance. They look so like they're guessing. And that's, I think, the biggest compliment that you can have if you're an opposing pitcher. But I also think it's really worth mentioning that he looks unbelievably healthy. And I'll knock on wood. I'll do what I have to do. But I mean, I think it was Matt Gelb who put out a tweet to the effect of like, Luzardo threw 5 pitches last season in excess of 98 miles an hour. And in the first inning of that 3-2 game against the Dodgers, I think he threw like 9 pitches of 98 plus miles an hour or something like that. So he's obviously he's healthier and his stuff is a bit more refined. The repeatability in his delivery is really, I mean, he looks so much more composed than he did when he was with the Marlins. It's just really exciting. And this is kind of exactly what you hoped for. When you saw that the Phillies were going to make this kind of addition, that they had a plan, they had a set idea of what they were going to do to get this guy, to kind of take that next step. And I mean, it looks kind of like he has. So,
and Richard, his family were there. Great scene. That's what I love. And he looks pumped up. Like Pete Pratt from Miami Marlins UK was saying, like, we never saw Luzardo this pumped up at Miami.
That emotion that he let go after that last strikeout in the 7th inning, I've never seen that out of him before. That's really cool, and I think that's a lot of that has to do with the environment.
Yeah. It was reminiscent of of Chris Sanchez last year when he got when he finished the hit off his game in the City Connect. So it was a quite cool parallel to see.
And another guy that you just don't see a lot of emotion out of, that then you got a lot of emotion from. That complete game shutout was I love that's my favorite moment from last year.
We're getting a few moments in these City Connect jerseys, aren't we? I'm liking these. You know, the
I like them.
under the lights, the City Connect.
Oh, I don't know if
Here
I'll
we
go
go.
that far. I don't know
I
if
like
I'll go
them.
that far. I like the
I
new
like
hats.
them.
New hats are cool. New
Yeah.
hats are
Yes,
cool.
yeah, that's gonna be a purchase in June.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've come around on the uniforms at all, but new hats are cool.
I don't know. I don't know. And by the way, Lazario's outing was against the LA Dodgers, the reigning
Right.
World Series champions, the hottest team in baseball, the unbeaten at the time LA Dodgers. To put that performance in, damn, like he is gonna, unless if he can maintain that, he's on the Cy Young form. So there is going to be the odd game where you're going to see a slump out of him. But my word, this rotation is already giving us what it was billed. This is the best rotation in baseball. Hey, yeah, we Yamamoto pitched well on the other side as well. I feel we could have got to him more. I think we let him and Sasaki off actually a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
Stott and Marsh came through with the RBIs. Romano, we're going to get into him shortly. Really concerned. He nearly blew it in the ninth. Wow. If we had lost that game about at 2:30 in the morning after
he got let off the hook twice this week. And it really,
and he got credited with the save for that first game.
Yes,
and it's like I know you can't give it to JT, but like that was JT's save.
Yeah, JT Real Muto. Wow,
he's the first catcher to ever pitch a save.
Unreal. What? First of all, what a way to finish the game. It's a kind of a shame that he didn't give the out at the time because I think his butt was ready to erupt, absolutely erupt. And then it was like the delayed reaction.
It was a bit like VAR in football or soccer.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly that. You just felt like, wait a minute. And then are they going to give it? Are they not? I think it was pretty clear.
I did think that the umpire coming over the speaker, how he just announced so quickly, was like, runners out. And then everybody's like, yeah! He just wanted to get out of there.
We messed up. We messed up. Yeah.
Call overturn, runners out.
They should have done like a game show thing, where like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? They've got the heartbeat going.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Boom, boom.
Before we go rotate away from Jesus Luzardo, there is kind of one little comparison I wanted to do. Ooh. And granted, it's been 2 starts, right? Who's gonna say anything about 2 starts from
not us.
There's another left-handed pitcher that was on the open market, not the open market, but on the trade market this offseason, who a lot of people think is probably going to be the next best pitcher in baseball, Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet doing really well. Lower ERA than Jesus Luzardo because he's given up the same amount of earned runs. I think it's like 1 less inning pitched for Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo has more strikeouts. Jesus Luzardo has less walks. Jesus Luzardo is kind of like standing his ground against this Garrett Crochet guy. And the Phillies gave up a fraction of what the Red Sox gave up to land him.
Yep.
Pretty interesting storyline to watch here as the
we'll keep an eye on that one.
I think we will. That
is an interesting one. JT sort of reaffirmed why he's the best catcher in baseball behind the plate. Wow. And to be fair, his bats now actually, ironically, since last week,
after the last podcast,
putting JT on the lineup and swapping him and Cassie, both of these guys have now come alive. It's just
big time.
See, we know what we're talking about.
We know what we're talking about sometimes.
Yeah, we had this. Game 2 was ugly. I hated game 2. I think how we let Sasaki off was just ridiculous. And then
so many opportunities.
That first inning was crying, and Bryce Harper had a terrible at bats in that game.
I think we both said last week like getting to Sasaki early was the key, like because he got pulled in his first game super early. I think the opportunity was there, and we just.
It even felt like there was an opportunity. It's not like Tanner Scott came out firing in the 9th. Like
and we always get Tanner Scott as well. That's
and he's had a terrible start to the year. It felt like there was gonna be an opportunity there. And then 4 pitches and 3 hitters is just not the way that you want to do that.
It was a horrible game. 4 hits all game. Nola was just Nola. I don't really know what to say because 6 innings, 2 strikeouts, only 2 strikeouts, which was his strikeout game was not there at all. 3 earned runs, 2 of them home runs. it's the same. It's the same thing every week. I don't know. I don't know. It's
I think the only thing I know, like, so we were playing, like, quote unquote the best team in baseball, and to only give up 3 runs isn't awful. I think Nola looks worse because of how good the rest of our pitching staff is. Even Taiwan this week, like, what a comeback game from him.
But it's
So I
6
think
innings.
it kind of looks worse, but I think it's the way that Nola gives up runs. But it's been all the starting pitching. I mean, before, was it the Teoscar Hernandez double that brought in a runner?
Yesterday,
Every
yeah.
single run scorer was off home runs.
Mhm.
I think 3. I mean, he could have pitched better, sure, but the bats weren't giving him any support either.
No.
I think especially we all know that Aaron Nola prefers to pitch in warm weather, and it's been dreary and dismal here at the start of the season. But also, and that's why I think the concern that's being raised about his velocity, I think is not a problem whatsoever, because we've seen this again. He prefers to pitch in hot weather. He prefers to pitch when he has enough sweat to tack the ball up.
Yeah.
He, all these things. I struggle to see how anything that transpired on Saturday was Aaron Nola's doing. 6 innings of 3-run baseball is literally, there is a metric designated to that exact kind of start, and it's called quality start. Like that, I don't understand how you can complain about a guy that's going to give you 6 innings and 3
Exactly.
earned runs.
And we were saying, any other pitcher, like if that was Taijuan Walker, we'd be doing cartwheels with 3 earned runs against the Dodgers.
And people were doing cartwheels about Christopher Sanchez yesterday.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
and he gave up some big meatball against Teoscar Hernandez.
And it was raining and all the things, but like,
Yeah.
it's like you can't celebrate 5 2/3 innings of 9 strikeout, 4 earned run baseball, and then when another guy does better.
And Aaron Nola still kept us in the game. 3 runs when it should have been doable. We couldn't even get 4 hits. The bats severely let Nola down.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm impressed with. Joe Ross came in with 2 huge innings, hitless, as well as Tanner Banks, who came in after. That again, they kept us in the game. The bats just weren't there. Bohm's early RBI was it. It was just a horrible game.
Color me shocked on the Joe Ross and the Tanner Banks.
And he starts dancing.
He looks pretty good. I was really I didn't get it this spring. I wasn't really I don't know, I wasn't excited by him at all. But color me impressed. These first few, even I think he let something happened in the National Series. He allowed an earned run of some description, but I remember it not being his fault. I can't remember what I'm thinking of, but that was his first earned run allowed in the season. He's looked excellent from a pure eye perspective. He looks really, really, really excellent. So I'm interested to see how things transpire from here with him.
And Tanner Banks still isn't allowed to run this year. The bullpen on the whole actually has been pretty good.
Nearly.
We'll get into that in a minute. Hey, yesterday's game. How about it? UK friendly as well. We don't usually get these sort of games in UK friendly games either. 8-7 win. Went down, came back, blew the game open, went down, then went back ahead against the good Dodgers bullpen. This game had everything. It was so much fun. I think if we'd lost that, it would have been disappointing, but still you're thinking, well, we were toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. We went toe-to-toe Dodgers and came up with a win. A serious win. And Sanchez, 5.2 innings, 4 earned runs. Yeah, more than Aaron Nola. But 9 strikeouts. 3 of those against Shohei Ohtani, who had another abysmal outing against
that
the
feels
pitchers.
Incredibly important should an NLCS
he can't bat against us
arise. But
it was 1 for 11.
But if
in the series,
and I think that really speaks to the strength of the Phillies left-handers, and I think that that's a big thing to remember when you start thinking about potential NLCS matchups. Because I know I say this pretty much every time we hop on the microphone, but 3 of these guys from the rotation will be in the bullpen, whether that's Andrew Painter plus Christopher Sanchez plus Jesus Luzardo, or if that's Ranger Suarez, and any combination of those arms could be in your bullpen, and that feels incredibly important when it comes to
absolutely
Shohei Ohtani.
just on Otani, I did a little digging. There's 2 MLB ballparks he's never hit a home run at. One of them being Citizens Bank Park. And he, out of
The
all
other
the
one is
teams in the
Chase Field.
yes, and
Really? Wait, really?
it began. Oh, you have to check.
I was just guessing. I was literally
I just
guessing.
wanted to sound confident. But,
I just feel like Chase Field is. Really
it might.
hard
I
to
mean,
pull
I
out.
think presumably the new Tampa Bay Rays stadium. He's not hit one there yet, but that doesn't count.
Yeah.
He's got the second worst batting average against the Phillies out of every team, the second worst OBP against the Phillies, and his lowest OPS is against the Phillies.
And that includes the time with the Angels as well. Yeah,
that's across his career.
Yeah,
this all feels like a deadly setup.
Yeah,
for a heartbreaking moment at some point, but I am here for it.
We're not going to overreact after 3 games. We're definitely going to overreact.
We have. I've gone. Harper got the RBI. Casty blew the game wide up with the grand slam. I felt the rain played a big part. The game fell to pieces for. I felt the Dodgers had the brunt of the worst of it. Thankfully, that horrible inning for Glasnow. Sanchez sort of came in when it wasn't as bad, but the walks, the Phillies taking walks. They just, was it 10, 11? Well, I know we're in double figures.
Something like that. It was, and Rafael Marchand had 3 of them.
Yeah, Marchand had 3. The Phillies making opposing pitchers pay. That's something we didn't do last year. We never made that happen. Casty, was it the first strike? Was it the first pitch? I think it was the first pitch. First pitch swinging out the ballpark. Romano gave it up again. 3 earned runs. His ERA, I know it's small sample size, 15.75 right now. The guy doesn't look. He's lost all confidence. What's this? Nearly 6 runs given up in the last 2 games. 5. What do we do, Alex? What do we do? Has he got options? I don't think he has he?
No. But I'm not sure it's even confidence. I think Romano's big problem is that for some reason he's not coming out warm. And I'm not sure if that means, I've been talking with a few folks about this, but I'm not sure if that means that, they need to tweak his warm-up routine or something needs to happen, right? But it has been a consistent thing where Romano, I remember for his season debut, Romano came out of the bullpen and was sitting like 91 to 92. And I was like, okay, that's a problem. And I tweeted something about it. And then maybe 11 pitches into the at-bat, he found his way back up to like 95 to 96. He pumped 98. I was like, okay, here we go. And then, he gets out of the inning, whatever, comes back a few games later, same thing. Gets out of the inning, comes back a few games later, same thing. We've seen it. And I just want to say, Rob Thompson putting him in that scenario, I understand that that's why you signed him, and you signed him to be like a 7th, 8th, 9th inning guy. I don't know how you arrive at that decision. I love Rob Thompson. I don't know how you arrive at that decision because you
don't think it's just having one big last faith in him?
You have a day off the following day. You've got Strahm, Kerkering, and Alvarado ready to go for 7, 8, 9. What is the point of trying to pigeonhole Romano in there? I have I just don't know what he was thinking. But thank God it did not backfire because Romano was bailed out twice this weekend. And if he hadn't been bailed out, I think the conversation surrounding him would be so much worse. It would be really intense.
I think to be fair to Thompson, he did get Kerkering up straight away, like after one batter.
Sure.
I think he realized he messed up. So like at least he wasn't like full sunk cost.
At the same time, it's really whatever's going on. I don't think Romano's hurt. I think there's a possibility he's rusty. But he had a really good spring. And not only that, but in the spring, he was totally fine. He was coming out.
And the weather was a lot warmer, right? Again, it could be like a Nola issue.
It could be, but he used to pitch in Toronto, Toronto's not exactly known for being insanely hot, but it's whatever's going on, that problem needs to be nipped in the bud immediately because you can't have 15 pitches to warm yourself up into a high pressure scenario. You just can't have it.
It was the same against the Rockies or the Nationals, where he gave up again early runs and then actually shook off the rust and looked good. You know, he then struck out. I'm pretty sure he struck out the side. I think it's the game we were doing, wasn't it, Richard? With the live watch along, where he gave up a run, then struck out the side after.
Yeah, it rings a bell. I will say his average reloads, like, it's consistently been going down since 2021. Like, every year it's been going down.
That's mostly just because he was hurt pretty severely, and then there's theory that he pitched through some injuries in that time span. But you're looking at a guy that just took, a full 18 months off from pitching. This should be, theoretically, he should be back at whatever full strength is for him. And it does not appear that way. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if he'll end up on the IL. I don't know if he'll whatever. But that is something that you really got to fix, especially because in spring this was not an issue. So whatever the issue is, it's happened since spring ended, which is who's to say?
We need him to figure it out, because we can't keep bailing that out. We can't keep nearly throwing games like that.
Well, the Phillies already needed another arm in the pen anyway, even with the Romano addition. So now to need maybe two is the difference is pretty.
However, Kerkering, Strahm still haven't allowed a run this year. Matt Strahm, after a slightly shaky Washington series, but now he's really, really. I would say in these early stages, he looks like he's a better pitcher than last year. Like, I feel relatively relaxed when Matt Strahm comes in, even in these high pressure situations.
His velo is down, so that's something that you hope to see kind of make its way back up. But yeah, I mean, that bridge at the back, these three guys, and Alvarado and Kerkering and Strahm, I mean, it's unbelievable how well they gel together, and because even when you think about it from a perspective of like, there's like this whole bullpen theory that like if you give guys different looks, right? So different arm angles, different secondaries, different, yada yada, then it makes it really, really hard for it keeps the batters uncomfortable. Those are three very different looks. You've got a lefty sidearm junk baller with a really funky delivery. You've got a high spin, high command righty that just, his sweeper is one of the best pitches in the freaking sport. And then you've got 103 coming down the pipe, like strike one, strike two, good luck. Like, it's really cool to see this back end bullpen tandem working the way that they are.
And Jose giving us stress-free top of the ninth, in a 1-run game, and Alvarado was lights out that time. 2 days off. Phew, and that's good. That was an important bounce back inning for Alvarado after the last one. The heavy workload he had against the Rockies in Game 3. If that had gone the other way, that could have been, oh no, Alvarado's 2 games in a row. We know he gets a bit shaky if he loses confidence, but that was a solid, again, touching 101 miles an hour. I love it. I love Alvy. I really do. And do you think they will keep going with him in the save opportunities?
I think it's going to be I think it will still depend on handedness sometimes. I think if it's a lefty heavy lineup, you'll see Alvarado. I think if it's righty heavy, you might see Kerkering. But ultimately, I think Jose Alvarado might be kind of the guy that they're pegging for closer right now. I think that will probably change after the deadline, but right now, I think that's the guy that you're looking at.
Love it. Stock came through, another RBI for him, 4-game hitting streak now for Bryson Stott.
I think 5 games. I think
5. Is it 5 games? 5 games.
It's 5 games.
I think it's 5.
It's more than it's 4 or more.
I'm pretty sure it's 5.
I'll go with 5.
I'll fact check us, but I'm pretty sure.
While you're fact checking, it was Great American Ballpark for Otani. That's the other one he hasn't.
What?
Anyway,
how is that possible?
It's a very hittable.
It's the hitter's park to end all hitters' parks.
Even
we'll leave that for a
Hernandez
Dodgers podcast where they're crying over the fact that the Phillies have beaten them 4 series in a row.
That's unbelievable.
Again, we're just setting up. We're setting up to fail on that phone.
A 5-game hit streak for Bryson Stott.
5-game hit streak. All right.
Who is
Averaging
hitting
2.28s, I think. He's
yeah, I hate to
800.
say it. He's hitting 286 with an 819 OPS. I hate to say it.
And coming through in clutch situations.
Oh, and playing just remarkable second base defense, probably. Not really flashing the leather of late, but he will be eventually.
But
hate to say it.
Let's get to the guy who, again, what another multi-hit game. I don't think he's had one game where he hasn't had a multi-hit game when he started. Edmundo Sosa, again, coming through clutch to get the Phils the lead. Drew Ashurst and many more have said, what do we do with Sosa? And that hot bat of his. And not only that, he plays center field. He looked fine in center field. Is he going to swap with Marsh? What does this mean for Rojas? Oh, Alex, what do we do with this hot bat? What do we do with Sosa? You can't. I don't think you can sit him.
I don't think you can either.
What would you do?
Rich?
I mean, I don't want to go too much into my hot or not, but I'll just say I think he plays left field tomorrow.
Oh.
That would be very interesting. I don't think they'll take playing time away from Kepler. I think
That'll be spicy.
I think Kepler will probably maybe every now and again, but especially after an off day, I'm not so sure. But I do think you're going to start seeing him kind of move around a little bit, and probably keep guys like Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm maybe a little bit more fresh. It's a really difficult situation, and it's really. Especially, you don't want to piss off any of your regulars and then, make Edmundo think that his role on the team is bigger than it is. I don't necessarily think that this is, again, because we've seen this before, right? We've seen Edmundo have awesome, a time to shine when Trey Turner went down last year, obviously. And
it did wear off, didn't it?
Towards the end of it, he got a little overexposed, right? So there is every possibility that this 30-year-old utility infielder could be hitting his stride right here, right now. I kind of doubt it. That being said, amazing guy to have as a sixth man option, as he refers to himself. But I do think that it's a little bit challenging to slot him in every day. I do think he'll make his way into the lineup more often than not.
Yeah.
And I think the majority of the time it'll be when the Phillies are playing against a lefty starter. I think they will just mix and match as they go based on matchups.
But for Rojas, who's hardly seen any action and who has actually started pretty well, he's coming through, but he needs to play. I can't help if he needs to play every day. Do you see him possibly being sent down at some point?
I think he plays tomorrow as well. But
Johan?
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. I think
it's Sale tomorrow, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
I think that primarily, and I don't disagree with that primarily because I think putting somebody like Brandon Marsh up against Chris Sale, it's one thing to have faith in the lefty on lefty matchups. Agreed. It's another thing to have, an auto concede in the lineup, because Chris Sale against lefties is just, for any lefty, is a nightmare.
I don't want to see Marsh frozen at the plate.
I do think that you'll probably see either Edmundo Sosa or Johan Rojas play center field tomorrow over Brandon Marsh. I'm not so sure about Stott. I think Stott has done enough to this point where maybe he deserves a bit of a chance to try against Sale. I think Brandon Marsh playing against somebody like Chris Sale is just a futile attempt at, kind of a sunk cost fallacy, as Rich kind of alluded to before. But other lefties, I think it's worth leaving Marsh in the lineup. This particular one, I don't think so. But that being said, to answer your original question, Dave, I do think that it's probably something that they need to talk about. I think that right now, you don't need to be winning every single game. You don't need to maximize the strength of your roster and have all of these guys, firing on all cylinders and here to, pinch run every, third game, right? And I think, honestly, it's a really good opportunity for, somebody like, I don't know, Buddy Kennedy or somebody like Well, he's a lefty, so that would be a little bit
That's
difficult.
true. That's
But
true.
somebody like Buddy Kennedy, or somebody that maybe could better utilize this less playing time.
Although saying that, with the pigs being so hot, what would Rojas get in that team right now?
Well, he actually would have it would be a little bit of a hello.
You've got a guest.
Oh,
but,
Nolan's making an appearance.
It would be a little bit difficult because Justin Crawford's playing center every day.
Yep.
So it is a little bit of granted, they don't play every day down there. It's mostly, you have your regulars, and then a lot of guys get a lot of rest, and it kind of cycles in and out. That would be a hell of a outfield defense in AAA if that were going to happen. But there's definitely playing space. I'm not sure if center field is available, but there is definitely room for a guy like Johan Rojas to play.
Just to finish the line on Souza, 6 RBIs this season. His average is 0.550, OPS 1.321, 4 doubles. So
currently,
do you know who the only batter is better than Edmundo Sosa?
I saw this yesterday, and I can't remember who it was.
It was Johan Rojas.
What, with average?
In a very small sample
I love
size.
these.
It was the full sample size.
I love how he's
just saying.
But Edmundo Sosa is the 20th winningest player in baseball at the moment. And he's played pretty much half the games of the rest of the guys at the top of the list, which is...
But having said that, the Phillies have won every game that Romano pitched in, and we lost the team. So
is that true?
I don't think just winning
it is. Yeah, I'm thinking
wow.
about it. Yeah.
That's insane.
Just quickly on Sosa, I think
funny old sport.
Yeah, I think he doesn't necessarily find a place as in a regular position. I think and I kind of agree with what Alex said, like, I don't think we've seen anything from the past that suggests he's going to be this guy. He's hot at the minute, and play him. I think his advantage is going to be he can fill in center. If Harper needs a day off, he can, Bohm can go over to first, and Sosa can play at third. Bohm needs a day off, he can play there. Start Turner. I think that's where we're going to see it. These guys are going to need days off. Everyone apart from Castellanos is going to need to day off. I think that's where he's going to find the most playing time.
And I do think the really interesting thing, I read one of Matt Gelb's pieces the other day, maybe the other week, that mentioned something that I've brought up on the pod before and that I've kind of alluded to, but Edmundo Sosa is a popular name, among other teams when it comes to trade talks. And you can kind of see now, I think, why the Phillies haven't pulled that trigger. The spark plug that he is and how beloved he is in the clubhouse and all those things. I think this is kind of where you start to really see that value and why it's so important that he stay with the team. That being said, and they certainly wouldn't trade him mid-season, but it is a pretty good opportunity for you now to give Sosa a bit of runway to kind of showcase, like, hey, that whole hot streak when Trey Turner was hurt wasn't just a fluke. Like, following this offseason, he's got 1 year of control left.
True. Yeah.
So it could just be a moment to showcase him and a moment to say, hey, this guy's pretty great if anybody wants to open up a spot for him.
Before we get to Richard's free huts, free nuts, and the Philly of the week, Bryce Harper, he's had a nice season. I just want a big moment out of Bryce Harper. I miss these Harper big moments. It was set up for him this weekend. It just didn't quite happen for him, but he's still hitting a very nice .278 average, 3 RBIs, 1 home run. He's fine, but I just want to see him come through these big clutch moments. It would have been the cherry on top of the cake this weekend to see Bryce come through.
Obviously, I wasn't watching, but am I right in saying he didn't start particularly fast last year?
It didn't. It wasn't until the Red Series and these 3.
He didn't get a hit till the 5th game or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I read.
Again, could be the cold weather that he doesn't like.
I think it's more just he was pretty hot in spring. You hate to see guys kind of.
It's a small sample size, isn't it?
Be hot in spring and then maybe start the season a little. And granted, we're saying he's starting the season cold. I mean, he's still touting what, like a I don't know.
He had a double yesterday, I think.
Something OPS. He's not striking out a lot. He's
I think he's doing well. He just seems to be. He's not.
Just want that big
he
moment.
comes up in these big moments, and you think this is the guy, and he's not quite done it yet. But
it'll be there.
Luckily, Castellanos seems to be doing it like he was at the tail end of last year. So
it's
as long as someone's doing it,
it's 9 games. I think that as they go along, I think you'll start to see.
I think you called it in the prediction show, Richard, that Casti you predict again is going to come along and
he's going to be like he'll be the guy in moments. Like he might not be the best like over the whole season, but he just seems to show up when he needs to.
Well, as many times as he struck out this season.
Stock market crash, Casti.
I mean, the whole team, the patience has been like remarkable.
Yep.
We just need to score with runners in scoring position. And then so we've got the 17th highest batting average in the league with runners in scoring position, which isn't great. But.
In fact, I think that's probably what you're seeing out of Bryce Harper. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Let me see if I can get them up. But it feels like to me, Bryce has walked quite a bit in these first few games.
Yeah.
Let me see if that's right. Yeah, I mean, 4 walks. It's not an exorbitant amount, but he's taking his pitches. And I think that that's probably a lot of why it feels maybe like he's not coming through in those big moments. Maybe he's electing to be just a little bit more passive rather than aggressive, which is his nature. But I don't know. I think those things will even out eventually. I do think that the patience with the club is, if everybody is being patient and it requires a little bit of a step back from Bryce Harper, sure.
Yeah, and exactly.
I'm here for it.
I know we don't want Bryce to set the world alight at the start of the season. It's about when he sets it alight. We want him to peak at the right time. But I just miss that Harper big home run, 2 RBI, 3 RBIs, grand slam. But it will come, and it will come.
Yeah, we want to see it in September and October.
Yeah, exactly. If
look at the Mets and the Brewers last year. Like they were hot at the right. I know the Brewers fell off again, but like at the right time. And the Tigers as well.
It's all about when. Yeah, about when you get hurt. All right, Richard. Here we go. Free hots, free nuts. Richard's hot take.
So I mean, we've obviously talked about 2 of the guys already. Jesus Luzardo and Edmundo Sosa. We've spoken a lot about them. Absolutely great this week. Couple of honorable mentions, I didn't quite mention it. Bryson Stark, we talked about his 5-game hitting streak. Castellanos again coming up clutch, that grand slam. I screamed at the TV. Taiwan as well, like great comeback game.
Yeah,
need to see more out of him, but fantastic. And like hearing him talk about his mum with the booze and stuff after. Just really happy for him. He seems like a great guy. But my third person is actually Trey Turner, who I'm a big fan of, as we know. But I think he's been really good. His out of like the everyday players, he's got the highest on base percentage. He's walking a lot more. He looks a lot more patient. He's getting a lot of walks. Like his hitting's not being as there, but he's walking a lot. I'd like to see a few more like steals out of him, but I think that'll come. But if he's getting on base, we said like if he's going to play lead off, we want to see him walking. And I think he has been walking. And if he can get there, he can get to second. That's going to help a lot with our runners in scoring position problem. I think having, if he gets there early. So he's my third hot. I don't know if anyone's got any comments on Trey.
No, on Trey, I agree. I think Trey's actually had. It's been quite under the radar as well, hasn't it? But Trey's just been Trey. I think we come to expect it from Trey now. But you look
and also defensively as well. Like
good.
Defensively, he's been solid. Look at that throw to win the game last night.
Yeah,
he's looked solid defensively. I think that you'd like to see maybe a little bit more out of him offensively. I think that, I think his selectiveness has less been like a tangible change and maybe more of just kind of passiveness at the plate. And I think you see that sometimes with guys early on when maybe they feel like they're not swinging that well. Part of me is, for whatever reason, finding it so hard to believe that he's going to start swiping again. But I think the game against Yamamoto was a great sign. I think that, his willingness to just take off and see what happens, I think is awesome. I do think that it's a little, I think they just want to keep him healthy. And I think that's, they're being careful. So just because they want him to play like this guy longer into his career, I think, because they have him for 10 years. So why wouldn't you? But I don't know. I hope he starts to run a little bit more. I would just hope to see a little bit more power out of him,
Yeah.
but I think that
remember
will
last
come.
season in the postseason, his steals came alive. Like he was swiping.
Well, that's when you're
bases.
never.
Yeah,
you're
and
not
we
gonna
don't
hold it back.
know like how bad his back. Obviously, he missed a couple of games with his back. I know he came in to pinch it. We don't know how much that potentially is, or we don't want you running and sliding, or potentially running into someone trying to protect a base or something like that. So
The thing that I am happy about is that he's not chasing as much. He's not whiffing as much. He's definitely not hitting the ball hard. But I mean, that should come. The exciting thing is, even though he's 32 years old, well, I guess he's 31 right now, but he's turning 32. It's his age 32 season. He's still 100th percentile in sprint speed in baseball. So that speed's not gone anywhere yet. And I think that's in the playoffs. I think you'll probably see him steal all the time. In the regular season, I think he's probably capped at like 30, 35. I think, just because they don't want to risk him getting hurt. And I don't blame them.
You find that in general up and down the league.
Yeah.
There's moments when you need to steal and get runners in scoring position.
It's like what Minnesota's doing with Byron Buxton or Mike LA.
Exactly. Yeah, renowned pieces.
Like, they're just gonna let him, take it easy.
Rich, you're free nuts.
My nuts. So obviously Jordan Romano, we've spoken about.
He's a big nut right now.
Yeah, he's sorted out. This one might surprise people, and this isn't like a long-term concern, but just as like if we're talking about right now, who's not hot is Max Kepler. I think he'll be fine. I
don't know. I might push back on that a little bit.
Oh,
He's the only Philly with more walks than strikeouts.
He's walking a lot, but
you want to talk about selectiveness? He's been very selective.
I think part of it is because of how well he started, and so I think that's factoring into my like. He started so well, and now he's like, I think he's hit once in his last 5 games. Let's say he's walking, which is good.
On average.
Yeah, he's still, boasting what? I guess he's at probably around
yesterday, wasn't it?
700 OPS or something.
Yeah, I think he's had three walks in the last
7 walks on the season. I just pulled the numbers up. He's 7 walks on the season to 6 strikeouts, 343 OBP. I mean, it's that typical he's gonna start.
I think it's just because of how we started, and we know the power's there. And then we've played like 4 right-handed pitches in a row. I would have liked to see a bit more hitting from him. But it's not. That's why I said it's not a long-term concern.
I also think that a lot of what you'll notice about the Dodgers right-hand pitchers, they don't operate the same way as a lot of typical right-handed pitchers in the league. They all have splitters, and they all are made to face left-handed pitching. Which I think is kind of a big part of why you're maybe not seeing some of these left-handed hitters, do as well at the outset here. Particularly in the case of Brandon Marsh. You don't see a ton of splitters. You're starting to see it a lot more now, but back when Brandon Marsh was coming up, you didn't see a lot of splitters, especially in the minors. So it's a very, just because of how taxing it is on the arm. So
yeah, I fully expect he won't be in the not category next week. He'll be fine.
I think
I'm not worried.
Really good week for him. I'm excited actually.
We had such a good week. It's hard to pick 3 knots other than the obvious.
That's true. This is the worst time to start this.
Yeah.
So when I say not hot, it's not quite as hot as some of the others.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
not
think
as cold.
But also, if we think about hot from a different perspective, I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter. Max Kepler is like the new hard eyes emoji.
Chicks dig Kepler, don't they?
In Philadelphia. Whoa. I've been picking up on that a little bit, which is
it's not been hard. His face is everywhere right now.
Yeah, true.
And then my third. Any guesses on who my third will be? Dave will probably know.
We've had Romano, we've had Kepler, Marsh.
It is Brandon. I've seen a lot of stuff online today about Bohm, and like I'm just not worried about Bohm. I think his process is fine. He's hitting the ball. He's just being a bit unlucky. Like
He's
making solid contact. He's not striking. I mean,
he's in the
he's
top
going early a
10.
lot, but
He's in
the
top
pitches
10
he's
of hard
swinging
hit
at are fine
percentage.
to swing at. So
Top
I'm
10 of
not
hard
worried
hit
about much.
percentage in the league right now.
Yeah,
So
he'll be fine. The process is fine. Trust the process. Yeah, Brandon Marsh. I mean, it's no surprise. I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't think he's an everyday player. I still don't think he's an everyday player. I don't think his at-bats look competitive. Yeah, he's walked a few times, but he's never looked like doing... he keeps showing bunt and then doing absolutely nothing with it. I know he made that great play in the field last night, like 10 out of 10, hats off, like the catch and the throw to the catcher. But when he comes up to bat, I never have a sense of he's going to do anything. I think fielding, he's a bit slow. I know he made that one play, but I don't know. He just does not inspire confidence to me, and I'd much rather see Rojas out there, especially against lefties.
That's going to be spicy for a lot of people, that take, Richard. I
couldn't disagree more, but I will let the chips fall where they may.
I'm happy to be proven well, but I'm not a fan.
That's the thing. I for one, I've never been more confident in Brandon Marsh breaking out in my life. I'd
love to see it.
I'd love to see it. I want him to succeed.
Very excited. I think that again, I think a lot of the matchups at the outset of the season have been really unfavorable. You look at Kyle Freeland. You look at again all these Dodgers pitchers. They all have splitters, and I think that allowing Marsh to at first kind of face lefties unmitigatedly is definitely going to hurt his overall his overall statistical value.
Yeah.
But I think eventually it could even out. I'm not going to sit here and say that Brandon Marsh is going to be able to hit
do you reckon
lefties.
he plays tomorrow against Chris Sale?
No. In fact, I think that would be ridiculous because it's Chris Sale.
I think with Marsh, I've got a feeling this is going to be short-term pain, long-term gain. I think because these games, they of course they count. Every game counts, but getting his eye in now, getting his struggles out now, because to be better against lefties, he's got to face lefties. That's the pain of it. However, he came through with an RBI in game one. He's getting hits. He's getting contact. He's starting to get more contact against lefties now. I think by midsummer I think I'm going to stick with it. I think he's going to come good against lefties. Not incredible, but I think he's going to give us production out of lefties, and that's going to be vital come in the running again, going into postseason.
Personally,
short-term pain, long-term gain with Marsh.
I don't have the confidence that he'll hit lefties, but I think that in general, allowing him to face lefties is just going to inspire a lot more better decision making from the right hand side, and I think yeah.
So I'm just wondering when Dave said he got a hit, but I don't think he's hit.
He got an RBI.
He got an RBI. It wasn't. Okay. I think it was a.
He had an RBI on a. There was a.
Wasn't it a bases loaded RBI?
Yeah, he made contact. It was where.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah. The run scored, and Marsh.
It was a big run scored.
Yeah. The first game.
Either way, I think the fact that he's only struck out 8 times in these first 8 games that he's played in is actually a huge compliment to him, believe it or not, just because of the pitchers that they've faced. Again, Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Glasnow are almost at times better against left-handed hitters than they are against right-handed hitters. I think letting him play against Kyle Freeland was crazy, but sure, why not? I think that in the aggregate, it's like Dave said, it's going to work to his advantage. I don't think he'll be good against lefties, but I think it's going to help him kind of understand how to see a lefty a little bit better. And then again, in the aggregate, help him in general when it comes to pitch selection and when it comes to patience and discipline. But the big thing that I'm excited for is I think that, overall, the confidence that this should theoretically inspire in him. I'm just excited. I'm seeing a better.
I hope I'm proven wrong.
Play. I hope so too, but we'll see.
There have been moments in games where you've been surprised that he hasn't been pinch hit for in big moments. And actually, he did come. He has come through with it. Maybe it was a couple.
He's
of walks
converted
but
in the majority of them. He has at least moved a runner or gotten a run home, and
yeah,
I think
production,
that's
production. Yeah,
if that's what he's giving you against lefties. I think that's perfectly fine.
I
right.
mean, yeah,
We are running out of time. So Phillies of the week, you two. Richard, Philly of the week.
Luzardo.
Taiwan
Alex?
Walker for me.
Taiwan Walker. I was going to go Walker. And we said in the last pod that if he gives us just 5 innings of 3-4 runs, we'd be delighted. The
I'm
way
excited.
he came out, 6
This
innings.
game against the Braves is going to be
Walker versus Holmes. Now Holmes isn't the Holmes. That's an interesting matchup. That Walker, I've got a feeling, should come out on top of. Actually,
I don't know. Grant Holmes is good. Grant Holmes is like kind of a sneaky.
he's had a
pick
rough
for-
start. He's had a rough start.
Yeah,
from what I've
he
seen,
hasn't exactly had a ton of I think he's only made the one start, but he's kind of a sneaky pick for a lot of folks for, you know, a guy that's going to kind of, if you can even call it a breakout at this point, break out a little bit. But I think given the way the Braves offense is operating right now, and given the way that, you know, maybe Taiwan Walker's velocity bump is sticking because it looks like it is. I think it's the perfect opportunity for like 5 innings of 4-run baseball and still getting the win. And I think that hopefully that's how things transpire. But I'm very happy for Taiwan.
I was sort of gutted he didn't go out for the 7th and then at least be taken off after pitch for a big standing ovation. But no. I mean, like, just very, very literally one pitching off just to get a standing ovation, because I think he deserved it. I know he got one at the end of the 6th, but to have the whole ballpark standing up, because he deserved that, and I'm so happy for him. And we said this could be one of the greatest redemption stories ever. And God, I hope so. We love a redemption story.
It's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be hilarious when, you know, the trade deadline. No, when the trade deadline comes along, and if listen, again, I beg all Phillies fans to go look at what Jameson Taillon did in 2023, and then look at what Jameson Taillon did in 2024, and go look at how many teams were clamoring for Jameson Taillon's services, who's on the exact same contract as Taiwan Walker, if not like $1 million less. Like, it was insane how many teams wanted Jameson Taillon from the Cubs, and the Cubs were like, no, we need him. The Phillies do not need Taiwan Walker. And so I think that if you're looking for this year's version of like the Gregory Soto, Sir Anthony Dominguez flip, if Taiwan Walker does anything even close to what Jameson Taillon did last season, which is a tall ask. Jameson Taillon was really good in the first half. If Taiwan Walker puts up palatable numbers, teams are going to want that, especially when the deadline comes around.
Can you imagine the irony of the whole situation?
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. People were like, you have to trade Aiden Miller with him to get that money off the books. People are going to be begging you. They're going to be begging you.
That's an interesting one to watch.
He saw the 9 games in, our least favorite pitcher wasn't going to be Taiwan Walker.
Crazy.
Yeah, true. Right, the pig report. Iron Pigs are hot right now. Wow, what a team. They're not only beating teams, they're thrashing teams, putting on runs. First of all, Richard Rencone's watch. He looks good.
He looks good. Did you see his triple the other day? 109.9 miles an hour off the bat. I mean, the field gave up on it, if we're honest.
Doubled. I think
he had a double, he had a triple, he had a home run in that doubleheader, and then he also maxed out at 111.7 miles an hour.
Yeah, the fielder gave up on the triple, but we'll let it slide.
No, he didn't. But he started fantastic.
He's been great. And Crawford's looking great. Peyton Henry's looking great. Like Arroyo's looking great. They're all looking great.
Otto Kemp, Alex. Kemp watch. We talked about him a lot last year in the off season. Man, this kid can rake too.
Yep, Otto Kemp is I think without a doubt probably the Phillies' best non-drafted free agent find in a long time. I mean, he has just gotten better and better with every year that's gone on. He is the minor league leader in home runs right now. He can play multiple positions. I mean, it just feels like he is to me the Edmundo Sosa successor. Because as I mentioned before, Edmundo, is going to be a free agent after next year. He's a utility kind of guy that I think just against more than just left-handed pitching is just kind of a guy that you want as a sixth man on your squad. Not that he's some incredible superstar talent, but he's a gamer, and he's so vastly improved since he was drafted, or I should say since he went undrafted and then was signed. But he's just gotten better and better as the years have gone on. So impressed with him.
7-2. The Iron Pigs are 7-2.
And you see Mick Abel the other night? 6 shutout innings.
And go on, Griff.
Oh, your favorite pitcher. You've not shut up about how excited you are for this guy, Griff McGarry. You were just saying before we came on how you think he's the next best thing.
No, that wasn't myself. Not what I was saying. I'm saying I'm not getting sucked into it all yet. But Alex, you've been high on Griff for a long time, haven't you?
Have I back when his prospect
when he was drafted. Yeah, we're going back.
Helium elevated, but no, from
Eastern League Pitcher of the Week.
He was, and then by all accounts, I haven't gotten anything concrete on maybe things that they've been working on. Reading had no video feed this week, and then also the people that I usually talk to have been pretty buttoned up of late, which is unfortunate. But Griff topped out at 97, apparently. Was mixing the cutter really well. Throwing, again, that slider is still has the chance to be a plus offering if he can command it. So, I mean, it sounds like it was, listen, I didn't hear anything about them giving him another shot in the rotation until maybe a couple weeks ago. I felt like this was maybe throwing cold spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But it went really well. And the fact that they were not just 4 scoreless innings, but 4 perfect innings is pretty impressive. And it's definitely not coincidental. Granted, he's in AA. The hitters aren't as mature as those in AAA, but I mean, that is definitely going to pop a few eyes, especially given how he was passed over in the Rule 5 draft this year. And then Mick Abel also topped out at 97.
Yeah.
Also no walk.
It's promising. I'm not
that one. You should be more excited about that one than you should be about the Griff thing. But Mick really is off to a much better start this year, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that he's a 23-year-old.
True.
And I think a lot of people are forgetting that he still has a slider curveball combo that could kneecap somebody. So I feel like, I feel like the Mick Abel train kind of left the station a little early. But I think that people are going to be a little pleasantly surprised this season. It sounds like.
Are we surprised Garrett Stubbs isn't playing more?
I am not surprised at all.
Well, Henry's on fire. Henry
is on fire.
4 home runs, 8 RBIs or something. His stats are crazy. Stubbs has been kept out by.
Not really. Peyton Henry's kind of like I hate using this terminology, but Peyton Henry's kind of like a non-prospect. And really in AAA, they don't really play to win. They don't play to win necessarily. Although Peyton Henry since the spring has been raking. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe they do see something in him. Obviously the Phillies are looking for a backup catcher.
Marchand played well though, right?
Oh, Marchand's been great, but should JT Realmuto depart in free agency, God forbid, right? Rafael Marchand is all of a sudden your starting catcher. Phillies are definitely looking for a backup. So, Peyton Henry playing as well as he is, it's not necessarily nothing, but I think I have yet to see any of the patterns yet, but Garrett Stubbs caught Mick Abel for the first time this weekend. And I think that's something that you're going to be seeing a lot more of. I think you're going to be seeing Garrett Stubbs paired up with a lot of these more top prospect leading arms. And I think that's probably why you're not seeing him play as much. I think he is spending a lot of time on the receiving end because his production at the plate isn't why he's there. He's not working on anything. Garrett Stubbs is a 31-year-old backup catcher. He's not working on anything. he is definitely going to try and help those arms as best as he can. And I think Mick Abel throwing 6 scoreless innings with no walks to Garrett Stubbs is not a coincidence.
It's telling. It's telling. Henry's got 8 RBIs, 2 home runs. Got a bit high on his home runs. Rincones, by the way, 31 ABs, average of .290, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, OPS of .849. Great start. Who homered in his first AA game?
Aiden Miller.
Aiden Miller. One to watch. That was
didn't do much in game 2.
We don't.
Yowza.
If they do well, the games matter. If they don't, they're working on stuff.
Exactly. Game 1, fantastic. Game 2, I didn't even see it.
I truly would be shocked if there weren't some growing pains for him here in his first few AA games. I think that there's going to be. It's a tough adjustment. That is a really hard leap to undergo. The high A to AA leap is tough.
It is a big leap.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Crawford, by the way, his stats: 35 at bats so far, average of 286, no home runs yet, 4 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, OPS of .724. Decent start. Decent
OPS of .2. I was worried though.
Oh yeah.
I did see some really positive swings out of him this weekend.
We like what we see, Alex. We like what we see out of Crawford.
Not yet. He is still hitting virtually everything on the ground. He really needs to learn to lift the ball, but the swing has looked at times more balanced, which is very exciting. It means that he's getting a little bit stronger. It means they're refining the mechanics a little bit. That is at least a positive. I still don't know how he manages to get to some of the pitches that he does. I still don't know how he manages to hit the ball so hard with how messy his mechanics are, but he just keeps putting up surface stats, and I just don't think you can argue with it. So
Hey,
I don't know. There's a lot of things to love.
Signs.
A lot of things to love, a lot of things not to love, but the ball don't lie. Don't lie.
If you can get to AAA games down at Lehigh Valley, get down there. There's going to be some big crowds there this year.
This team is really good.
They're
playing good baseball.
It's stacked. It's stacked at the moment, and it's a good time to go. The crowds are expecting a big crowd for the next homestand. So it's Richard. We're going to be there in June. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm actually really buzzing for that as much as the Phils. Right then, quickly predictions on this big series with the Braves coming up.
Just one more minor league thing that's quite exciting is Andrew Painter's pitching on Friday.
That's true.
Painter's. This is significant. So what?
It's going to be about two innings a week, I believe, for now.
Where's
it's
he
going to be a ramp up? Yep. In
Clearwater. Threshers, Clearwater, yeah.
Clearwater. So, yeah,
It's exciting.
It will be a slow build, but he is.
It's good. It's good that he's on his way back.
It's good signs, and they're talking very positively about Painter in the organization. So that's all eyes be on him Friday as well. So that's going to be interesting. The Phils take on the Braves and take on the Cardinals. Not many UK friendly times. In fact, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is at 7:15. Sunday, I think, is also at 7:15. Yes, it is. No Braves on at UK friendly. Wheeler versus Sale. Sailor's had a pretty poor start so far. Touch wood. Walker versus Holmes. Lozado versus Schwellenbach.
What a pitching matchup that is.
That's going to be nuts.
Yeah, and I so wish that was UK friendly. I would love to see that. Wednesday.
Schwellenbach, I don't think has allowed an earned run yet this year.
No, zero ERA so far for Schwellenbach
on my fantasy team.
Despite the Braves are 1-8,
I had Teoscar on mine. It was great and going at the same time.
Braves are 1-8. I hate playing teams like a low.
Isn't that such a shame?
I don't
feel devastated.
I know. However, I hate playing teams like this because they're always due to snap at, and it's usually against us.
Have you watched them?
But no, I've seen nothing from the Braves except the scores.
I don't know if they're due. I don't know if they're due to snap anything.
Do you think are they that bad? Are they that bad right now? Because
well, they've all stopped taking the steroids now, haven't they? So
terrible.
They look so lost. It's really It almost inspires heartbreak. Almost. It's really,
it couldn't happen
but
to
I
a
mean,
nicer team.
it really does feel like everything kind of hit them all at once, and now they've all just really shut down a little bit. Reynaldo Lopez going on the IL, Profar getting suspended, Acuna
Yeah,
is
true.
not
Yeah.
back yet, Strider's not back yet. I mean, what's really concerning on the Braves front is that the kind of declines of Riley and Olsen and Albies all kind of look real. Like obviously last year was a huge step back for them, but those declines are starting to look a little bit more real because it's the second year in a row where things are really not going great. And I think the thing that's really scary for them, all of these guys are signed to long-term deals.
Yep.
That is the really scary thing for the Atlanta Braves. And
I can't help but just smile when you say all this.
I mean,
well.
again, if Sale really has to stay healthy now because AJ Smith-Shawver has not been the answer. Schwellenbach, everybody knew it, but Schwellenbach just looks like an absolute ace.
Yeah, that match with Luzardo is tasty.
He's just taken new steps all over the place. But it's really, if Chris Sale does not stay healthy, this rotation is all of a sudden down the two best members of it from last year. So it's I don't know. It's
Chris Sale starts this season against the Padres, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts against the Dodgers, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs again, 5 strikeouts.
Also, that is a tough start though. That is a tough start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Padres and Dodgers is
yeah. So it's pretty much and then the Phillies. That's pretty much as hard as you could get.
But they've been getting to him.
Yeah. I mean,
we've got the talent to do it as well. Like,
it's a tough start.
We're just as good as the Dodgers. And
they also did lose a series to the Marlins. They're coming off a series loss to the Marlins.
Joyous.
I can't believe it. Like, not only a loss, they got held scoreless by Cal Quantrill and the Miami bullpen.
And soon to be Taijuan Walker.
And then I think they also, wait a minute. I want to make sure that I don't get this wrong. Because I think the other game that they lost was, oh wait, no, it was suspended. They didn't lose the series.
That's right. Yeah.
That the last game was suspended, but it stinks because it was Sandy Alcantara, who I'm sure would have, gotten to him.
Bounce back.
But they scored no runs in that Saturday game against Cal Quantrill and Miami's bullpen, which I don't think I can name outside of like Anthony Bender. Maybe what's the other guy? Calvin Fauché.
I'm saying nothing about the Marlins until we've played them because they are our bogey team and always have been. So
yeah. Right, my prediction for the Braves is we sweep.
They're playing some fun baseball. The Marlins are.
Richard says sweep the Braves. Alex, what are you saying?
2-1. I think the third game of the series, they either lose the Chris Sale game or they lose the Luzardo Schwellenbach game 1-0.
That's what I think. We win.
Isn't it wild that out of the 3, we're going to definitely win the Taijuan Walker game?
Yeah, it just has that feel to it.
I can't see this lineup hitting its way out of a Taijuan Walker start. I really can't.
I wouldn't be surprised if we lost the series and won the Walker game. That's just sometimes the way the feels go. But
that will still feel like a victory.
No, we're sweeping.
This is usually me with the overflowing positive.
Well, I said it against the Dodgers and it worked out all right. And we didn't sweep, but it worked out all right. So
I would
never keep going with it.
Love a sweep in Atlanta to compound the misery down there.
We can still get to 160 wins this year.
I mean, just looking at the lineup, the bottom 4 hitters are, granted, Brian De La Cruz is a Philly killer. I don't think we brought that up, but like Sean Murphy's going to be back, and he has been terrible for them. Nick Allen, who? I don't know who that is starting at shortstop for them over Orlando Arcia, which is crazy. And then they lost their left fielder in Jurickson Profar.
I think if we win game one, I think we take this. I think we take the series absolutely. I think we could sweep it. Actually, you know what? No, let's go for it. I'm saying sweep.
It is unfortunate.
Nick Allen has a career average of 211.
It's I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. Like, I don't know why he's starting at shortstop for the Atlanta Braves.
You just know he's going to have the series of his life now.
Because their other one got banned for being a cheat.
Well, no. Their starting shortstop is Orlando Arcia, who has been terrible. It's Nick Allen is the starting shortstop because the Braves didn't do anything for shortstop. They have Nacho Alvarez in the minors, but he showed, I think, at the major league level that he can't play shortstop.
I was going to say, he had his chance, didn't he?
For whatever reason, they did not do anything to shore up their shortstop position. And Orlando Arcia is just not good. So, for whatever reason, they did nothing. They didn't try and sign Willie Adames. They're going to probably try and sign Bo Bichette in the offseason, and they're probably not going to be able to get him because all their money is tied up in players.
What money have I got? The Atlanta have sort of recline. Love
I tried to tell people a couple of years ago.
Right. That is it, folks. Hopefully this time next week we're talking about a sweep of the Braves and a sweep of the Cardinals. Why not? Let's just
Yeah, why not? Why not? We'll beat the Cardinals as well.
I don't see us losing again. No, Cardinals could be a tough. The Cardinals are 4-5. They started pretty rough. In fact, they've lost 3 in a row as well. Anyway, look. Before I talk myself into Phil's winning 6 out of 6 this weekend, what a pleasure, guys. Alex, thank you very much, buddy. Richard, thank you. If you've liked what you've seen and heard, hit the also subscribe button. Hit the like, subscribe on YouTube. The Phils are the hottest team in baseball right now. We're loving it. Long may it continue. Bring on Atlanta. Bring on St. Louis. From me, Dave Shaw, it is Ring the Bell. From Richard.
Ring the bell.
And Alex, take us out.
Ring the bell, Dave.
Let's go.